Draper. I'm the founder and CEO of Dine Out With Us. I'm fortunate to be here with a couple of my team members, Shelley Talbot, our CTO, and Bob Barrows, who are our freshly minted COO. We'll trial by fire here. Dine Out With Us is something we've been working on for about a year. We are currently in beta. It's a platform for what's called experience dining. Experience dining is kind of the next step in the evolution of the foodie experience. If you've heard of things like outstanding in the field, or some of the other things that are essentially where the food is the centerpiece, but the experience is really what's being sold. We're a platform, so like many platforms, we're really built for other people to conduct business on. From the restaurant side, so we have two stakeholders, the restaurants and consumers. For the restaurants, we're sort of like Airbnb meets Grubhub. So what does that mean? It means that we're a way to sell excess capacity and to generate revenue from what would otherwise be the wasting asset of empty seats. Not quite, okay. For consumers, we're a little like OpenTable plus eBay plus Venmo. So what does that mean? It means that it's a way for consumers to, for groups of people to go out to dinner, built around a host. So it's like a dinner party. And to handle the two bookends that really create the difficulty of dining in groups, which is cat herding, scheduling and getting people to the table, and then paying for it. We take those two issues off the table, and like many technologies, we think that when you make things much easier for people, it really broadens the market, and a lot more people will do something that they might already want to do but not do because it's just too much of a hassle. And it's kind of our value proposition. So now we're going to go to a demo. If I can figure out Windows 10. Great. So, starting over here, so Dine Out With Us. So we tell the story of Sophie. Sophie is our sort of mascot, our made up user. Sophie is a young professional living in Boston. She might be an engineer, she might be a lawyer. Sophie has a group of friends who she's surrounded by, and one of her friends is also friends with this guy named Dan, who's talking to her. Sophie met Dan once or twice at some social functions and decided that she'd like to get to know him a little better. So she hit upon this idea, well, I'll have a dinner party. The problem is she lives in about 700 square feet because she's still paying off her student loans, and she doesn't have a lot of time, and by the way, she doesn't know how to cook. So Sophie comes to Dine Out With Us as a way to basically create the event, stress-free for herself, and she ends up sitting next to Jim, and of course they fall in love, get married, and live happily ever after. So that's our backstory. So the reason we choose Sophie is that if we can do the things that put Sophie in this moment, as you can tell, she's very happy. We've actually encompassed a lot of use cases. There's a lot of different kinds of users who want to do the same thing. So when designing a product like this, the idea is pick your kind of perfect user that subsumes the needs of a lot of other users, and as long as you're building something which feels like it would satisfy that need, you build something that really makes sense for a lot of other people. Inside baseball and product development. So here you have what you would see as a landing page. This is my landing page, and what you would show is an upcoming seating. This is one that I've already decided that I want to invite people to. This is a 3-course family-style rib and sushi dinner because I like ribs and I like sushis. There are 12 that I reserved. I haven't yet started adding my guests, but the restaurant has room for 3 more people. So if my 12 wants to go to 15, I'm going to be able to do that. If I had not booked a seating, here are some unbooked seatings, and so I might decide that I want to sort of check out Hot Water's 5 courses. Oh, I'm the chef, so I'm not like that. And this would be the 5-course prefix menu. We support 3 menu structures: tasting, prefix. Prefix is defined as some number of courses and a number of options for each course. We also support a family style. And now I might decide that I want to book this event. And I might say that there's 100 available. I don't want that many, but maybe I can make 20 work. And then I might decide that, well, gee, I have a minimum. I need to get to 6 before I know that it's guaranteed. And I might not be sure that all my friends, even though I know they're going to go, I might not all decide that they want to log onto the site and complete their transactions. So I might decide that I'll be responsible for 1 or 2 extra guests, which then will basically authorize my credit card, but then when people come in later, it would be sort of deauthorized. So it's a way of making sure that you hit the minimum. But I don't really want to do that because I have a lot of faith in people that I invited to dinner. I'm pretty sure if I click on that, problems with the mouse here. And I want to make sure that I now know that I may lose it if by October 24th. Then I can book the event, and I can choose a credit card that I have on file here. And I can continue. And now I basically own the event. And at some point in the not too distant future, I'll get to invite people. I don't think we have time to go through that, so I'm going to go back. But essentially, that's the way the app works. So I'm going to go back to my little presentation. I'm a PowerPoint guy, you know, I'm kind of old school. That. Let's just kind of get away from the mouse. I also want to get back to my thing. This one is 10. F5 doesn't work right. They couldn't leave there. Good. All right. So that was the demo. So for consumers, it's basically a private in-dinner restaurant party. It's prepackaged, so there's no hassle. It's basically click and point and click and select. It gives you the ability to have something novel. The restaurants, our restaurant partners agreed to basically do a special bespoke menu. Is it my 22nd? I'm going to take it. So it's a food experience designed to be shared with friends. We call it food porn in the real world. So all those pictures that get posted on Instagram are a lot because people like to eat, but it's also because people like other people to know that they eat. So we allow this to happen in the real world. Basically, bring it in the real world, bring your friends to the restaurant. And we, as I mentioned before, we control the whole process. For restaurant partners, it's a premium luxury brand. What that means is we're not a discounting, we're not Groupon. We say to our restaurants, you can price your offering anywhere you want, but we will not allow you to call it a discount or a deal. We're not marketing it as a deal. We're not about group buying power. Instead, what we want is for the restaurants to take some of that value and put it back into making it special. So if you price it, it would be a relatively level price, but then add some bells and whistles to it to give a wow factor. You're basically serving everybody's interest, because the host, if you're hosting something, you don't care to save a few percent. You'd rather have it be great because your reputation is basically more. It also gives restaurants complete control over the time and the price and what they sell. And again, we call it the anti-Groupon because Groupon really blew up because that didn't work very well. And then lastly, we have this idea of word of foot. So anybody can get together, a group of, let's say, 12 people, is by definition a social influencer. And so for restaurants, getting people to bring their friends in, people who are tastemakers, as it were, to bring their friends is a huge thing. So that's another reason for them to use us. And that's it. Questions, please? In the back? Well, the question was where do revenues come from, and it's a revenue share with the restaurant. We take a commission. And just to explain a little bit behind that, the real idea behind Dine Out With Us is the restaurants to do it on their slow nights. And they're going to offer these things on, let's say, Sunday through Wednesday for a lot of restaurants, although downtown restaurants actually are slower on the weekends because they do a lot of business. So they have room in their margins to pay that, and so this will be nice. Second question, Vic? So we've actually been selling for about a month. So I published the world's first online dining guide in 1995 called BostonDining.com. Anybody who's as old as me might remember that, but it was kind of a big splash. It was an early Yelp. So I've got a good network. We've been selling for about a month, and we've got 7 beta dinners. We're in a closed beta right now. So we have 7 restaurants signed up for betas, and I'd say another dozen that want to come on board once we launch. The betas are a little bit more work. We're putting them together a little more carefully because we're going to take some pictures and use them to stock our social media presence. But starting from there, so we have right now beta dinners scheduled at Scampo, Aquitaine, Cinquecento, Brasserie Joe. So good high name restaurants in Boston. Next question. Did you?
You answered it.
Oh, aren't I good? Anybody else? Yes?
You see yourself expanding to other cities and
Oh, we do. Yeah, the goal, the question was, thanks, little signs here. The question was, do we see ourselves expanding in other cities? And the answer is absolutely. So I don't see any reason that we can't sort of follow the same lovely hockey stick penetration as Airbnb. We have a lot of very similar dynamics to it. I think we have a little bit easier time than they do in terms of finding providers because we're not depending on teaching people how to be innkeepers. Restaurants already know how to make private dinners. So I think there's a huge opportunity to get big fast. And if any investors in the audience, we're going to be doing a seed round, and then very quickly, I think we can absorb a lot of venture capital. I never like the unicorn word, but we can look like that in terms of our absorption of capital to expand very quickly. And that's definitely in our eyes. Our eyes are bigger than our stomachs right now, but hopefully we'll get fat. Yes? Anybody else? Yes?
How have customers been receiving it?
I would say that 80% of the people who I talked to, who I would expect to like it, really, really like it. And I think that there's a cohort or a set of people who really like to entertain. They like to go to restaurants, and they like to involve their friends. And it's very hard to do that. Anybody who's ever done a group reservation, herding the cats is very painful, and everybody has a story about that check splitting moment when somebody just didn't put any money on the table and put a lot less than they expected to. So playing the bank, going out and dropping $100 a head on a really nice dinner, which people will easily do, and then having it at the end of the night be, asshole didn't pay, that's just a terrible thing. So we sell that. So people like it. It seems to be getting really good uptake. And then there's a whole other commercial use that people are, drug reps and people like that really like to get. Yes?
Quickly, please.
You said 80% like it. What do the other 20% say?
They just don't have a lot of imagination. I don't know what to say. I'm happy with the 80. I mean, they don't really say anything. Nobody says, hey, your baby's ugly. And I think people just ask questions about, I think when I look at the gears going on, I think I'd say the most thing that's probably spinning in their head is, do I have 6 friends? And some people have actually said that to me. They said to me, I don't think I could get, like, people have approached to do betas, and they may just not want to do it, but they said, could I really motivate 6, 8, 12 people? One more?
So in that case, have you ever thought about putting two groups of like comparison together?
I'm sorry. Oh, matching groups? Yeah, we've thought about that. I mean, we've thought about a lot of different stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff out there where you can go buy a ticket to eat with strangers, and so there's Eat With and Feastly and a few things that are basically doing that, and I think they're nice ideas. I don't think they have a lot of legs, because I think they're like dating sites. Like, people might do them once or twice, but once they make friends, they're going to want to eat with their friends. I'm much more interested in this idea that, the original idea was to do this on Facebook, and Facebook didn't support some of the things we want to do with the technology, but the idea that we all have these social networks, and, even if we don't know a lot of people totally intimately, we have groups of people and I think the idea of playing host and bringing people together, that's kind of the essence of the dinner party concept. If you ever had a salon, right, and like invite 20 weird different people to come and meet each other, that's kind of a dying art. And really, part of the idea behind this is to bring back this dying art of having a dinner party and bringing groups of people together. So you don't need to go to strangers to do that. You can go to sort of acquaintances, and that's cool.
Awesome. Thank you.